Hi, this is Leigh, and this is Tarot Alchemy. I'd like to welcome you to my channel, and I'd like to welcome all the gems, my subscribers, and I'd like to welcome the new viewers. Thank you for watching, and I'd like to encourage all of you to subscribe if you haven't, and comment. Give me a comment, tell me how I'm doing, tell me if you like the read, tell me if it affects your decision making, or whatever. Just say hi, give a heart, give a gem, a little diamond, because we're the gems. And today I'm going to do a general reading. Today we're going to do a mashup, and I'm going to use the Pink Tarot and the Hidden Secrets deck, and I've mashed them together so you can see the different colors there. And this is going to be a general read.
Welcome to Tarot Alchemy. For entertainment only, use your discernment. All rights reserved. Everyone is welcome. Do no harm. Join our community. Thank you.
And we're going to see what comes out, and all of a sudden I'm getting the first card out, which is Resistance was the first card. And this says secret admirer, suppressing and timid. So somebody in the collective has someone who is thinking about them, someone maybe that you know that you have a secret situation, and you or that person is thinking about a beginning, like a new beginning, or perhaps taking a situation to the next level. Maybe they're having some realizations about their life, or you are. And this is bringing some sorrow, some loss, grief, and depression. But I have hoping in the upside down, which gives optimism. So there is hope in this situation. So there's hope in this situation. Chasing is coming to an end, and that means that there's going to be a beginning. It's this kind of, wondering and sitting, like the Hanged Man comes to mind. That's going to end, because somebody is releasing the burdens that have held them back from doing what they want. So let's keep going. So I'm sensing that you or that person wants to have this relationship, but there is, perhaps other obligations that are involved, or perhaps other scenarios, maybe finances or health things, or people's opinions, or things like that are preventing or have prevented this from moving forward. But you are the Lovers, and I cover up this card because YouTube gets upset, but I don't think the human body is something to be ashamed of. But the Lovers. So this is divinely led. So when you see up here this angel that is putting these two people together, that means it's a divine feminine and a divine masculine that are meant to be together. And there has been some kind of judgment called, whether you have called judgment, whether that person has called judgment, or whether the divine has initiated this judgment. I mean, the divine is always in charge of judgment, but it can be led in one way or the other by parties involved. And I'm seeing, a lot of people here. So there may be a lot of people that have come up against a divine feminine. And we've heard this thing come out a lot. There is a Queen of Swords in the reverse. And a Queen of Swords in the reverse is somebody who's impulsive. They're not using their logic. They're not thinking things through. And they're not the type of person that you want to be the queen. You don't want them in charge of things. But then I'm seeing the King of Swords. So this must have been some kind of couple, or is a couple. One is in the upright and one is in the reverse. So the King of Swords is using his intelligence, his logic, his position of power, his fairness to make a decision that is in not only his best interest, but in the best interest of all. And even though this Queen of Swords is in the reverse, this decision is good for her as well. And I'm seeing the High Priestess. So there is somebody, perhaps you, the divine feminine, who is in this High Priestess energy. And you are a very intuitive person, the High Priestess. She sees things, she hears things, she has different gifts, intuition, psychic abilities, she's probably spiritual. And so she understands what is going on in this relationship. She knows about it. Maybe this has been kind of in the shadows because there's been this Queen of Swords in the reverse that's been preventing or has felt slighted or does not want to change the situation. But unfortunately, even though these two are a natural match, when you have one in the reverse and one in the upright, that makes it a karmic relationship. And unless that Queen of Swords can move into the upright position, and only she can do that, or the divine judgment will come and it'll force her to move into the upright position. She'll either make a choice to change, to repent, to address her shadow side, or she won't. And if she doesn't, then she's going to deal with this judgment even further, and it will become karmic. Karma. The relationship is already karmic. Oh gosh. Yeah, so you're wondering why this relationship is so elusive. Well, that tells you why. There's a Queen of Swords in the reverse, and there's going to be finality. Somebody is going to say goodbye. That's either you or that King of Swords in the upright. Or it even could be the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Maybe she doesn't like what's happening. Maybe she's going to be the one. Yeah, it looks like there's no equity here. And so when there is no equity in a relationship, then one person is going to feel slighted. Maybe this King of Swords in the upright knows that he's not being equitable. And maybe he is making the decision to leave the elusive or secretive relationship. Or maybe he's deciding to leave the Queen of Swords in the reverse, or it could be the High Priestess who is seeing this very clearly and is just saying, hey, this isn't working. It hasn't been working. It's not working. I see optimism. So exhaustion is in the reverse. So that means that this has been an exhausting situation for all parties involved. Everyone involved is done with this situation. Nobody's benefiting from this of the three people involved. There may even be more than three people. The Queen of Swords in reverse may have somebody else. The King of Swords in the upright might have somebody else. It's unlikely that the High Priestess would be behaving like this, because that is not a behavior that a High Priestess would have. They typically are going to be straight up and do the right thing. Yeah, somebody's heart is closed off. That's why there's been a sense of resistance. So what else can we say about this love relationship? Yeah, I'm going to pull out the Ace of Wands. So there's some strong passion in this relationship. There's passion with all three parties. There's passion going on everywhere. This is sexual passion. This is passion like anger and resentment. There's a lot of passion. But the Ace of Wands is directing these parties to, place their passions in a divine way that is in alignment with the divine. And this also represents a passionate new offer, or a passionate inspiration that is received from the Most High. And that could be what brings in a beginning, whether it's a beginning in this relationship, or whether it's a beginning in the way each person looks at their life. But these people are going to be given a second chance at their life. They are going to be given by the Most High the opportunity for a beginning And that will give them a second chance, a second lease on life. And what I must warn or say, actually what I must say is the time is in the reverse. So this is occurring in divine timing. The time being in reverse may mean that people are anxious, frustrated, they want things to happen quicker than they're happening. But this is going to occur in divine timing. And this timing may come quickly, or it may take a long time, or may take a little bit of time. But anyway it happens, it's going to be in divine timing. This is going to close out this cycle for everybody, and everybody's going to move into a new cycle. This is going to change the way that they live. They're going to move out of this shallow kind of surface level interaction, especially if you're dealing with this elusive, secret admirer kind of shadow situation. The divine is going to call their bluff. The divine is going to take the mask off. And the people that have felt abandoned, and it could be all three parties, the people that have had burdens, that have felt sneaky behavior, that have had the Ten of Swords. Some people may have, some or all, and I'm going to say all the people involved have the Ten of Swords in their back. That's like the worst of the worst betrayal. The divine is going to teach these betrayers, these sneaky people, these, people that, if you look on here, there's barbed wire. Well, that's going to prevent all this bad behavior. And it's going to bring in communication, rapid communication that is coming from a distance. So there may be states or countries that sit in between these people, or even just emotions that sit in between these people. I see that because of this, oh boy, we're looking at commitment in reverse, a false pregnancy, or a pregnancy that is not going to come to fruition. And we're also looking at karma occurring that is going to right itself. So this situation was karmic, but it's going to right itself and not be karmic anymore. And of course, there's going to be a lot of memories. There's been some magic going on. That's going to stop. That's going to take people out of this feeling of prison. Some people actually are going to come out of this feeling bound and tied, this emotional prison. And or this could mean some people are literally going to go to prison. Now, I don't know what has happened here, but when we saw the Ten of Swords, Seven of Swords, and the great burdens, the Ten of Wands, I mean, we're talking about a very serious situation that has occurred. This may have put somebody in jail. They may be in jail right now, or they may just be in spiritual jail. Yeah, somebody got sidetracked. And they're getting their karma. They were in a karmic situation. That's going to change. They're going to go towards their soulmate. Whether that be the Queen of Swords in reverse, if she corrects her behavior, or the High Priestess. I'm not sure how this mashup is going to happen, but I do see an apology. And I'm not sure if this is going to be a deep apology or a surface level apology. Based on the next card, I do think it is somebody here is getting perspective. Maybe all three are getting perspective. That's what these types of situations are meant to do, is give us perspective and help us to, learn some lessons. We've been in a heart fog, or you've been in a heart fog. They've been in a heart fog. I said we've, so that could even mean that this applies to me in some way. Wow. Yeah. There have been two people, a Queen of Cups and a King of Cups. This may be two separate people, or this could be the King of Swords in the upright behaving as a King of Cups in the reverse, with a Queen of Cups in the reverse. So there's been some shenanigans going on. Some dishonesty. That's for another reading, but that may be part of the betrayal that's gone on here too, is this whole other situation with, these two in the reverse. Yeah. There was some lust. But now that's changing. People have experienced conflict, but that is also changing. And somebody is moving out of this conflict out of being stuck, maybe stuck between 2 lives or 3 lives or 4 lives. Maybe this person is a playboy, or maybe this Queen of Swords in the reverse was a playgirl. Maybe she got around. She had lots of possibilities. They both had lots of possibilities and lots of ecstasy. Maybe there was literal ecstasy or some kind of drugs that were involved. And this was good for a while until it wasn't. It created a lot of stress, and the Wheel of Fortune has stepped in. We saw that the world is changing the situation. There's been some shattered dreams. This stress has become a curse. You know, the good times have turned into not so good times, but it may bring in a twin flame, if you believe in that, twin flame union. And twin flame unions, they say, can be rather painful because your twin flame person, it's like yin and yang. I look at it like yin and yang. You know, you're alike, but you're opposite. So, you know, it does take time to recognize and to work through that. But somebody is going to move into their emperor status, and they are coming in with a meaningful offer. It starts off as an attraction, and it may move in to a love offer, potentially marriage. But nonetheless, there is a moving on to calmer waters, getting out of this karma, getting out of this stress, getting out of this lifestyle that doesn't serve you or serve them. And there's been a lot of reflection. Somebody's losing in this situation. It may be more than one person. There's a lot of money involved. If this was a marriage or a community property situation, there's going to be a lot of money confirmation lost. We have a star in the mix who is also the high priestess, and temperance is stepping in. So regardless of whether or not this high priestess and this king of swords decide to move forward, there is somebody that is going to move into public recognition, or somebody is publicly recognized, or maybe they all are publicly recognized. But I do see a stability occurring. The sneakiness is going away. This is going to end. I said this was the Ten of Pentacles, but this is the Ten of Cups. So the love is, you know, falling out of these cups. There was a lot of love in this relationship that didn't work out. And it's a great loss. I mean, Ten of Cups is the maximum loss in terms of love, in terms of this can relate to family. This has a lot of implications on these people's personal situation, but we do see a Ten of Cups coming in, or no, a Ten of Pentacles coming in. So whatever occurs here, there's going to be a recognition of a new relationship or a correction in the existing relationship. I am seeing that one relationship will end and another one will begin. That relationship is going to be very fruitful. This could mean business endeavors. This could mean, the bringing together of assets. And these assets can be physical, spiritual, emotional. I see that there will be building by 2 people. And with the High Priestess, a star, I mean, that person's coming in with spiritual inheritance. And then you have the Emperor, who probably has physical abundance, who is in charge of many things, probably has connections and things like that. But he may also have his own spiritual abundance. So I see this as a lesson for everyone involved. Everyone will end up in a better situation if they take their lessons given to them by the divine, if they recognize and deal with their judgment, their shadow self, etc. And I'm going to end the reading on that note. With that said, peace, love, thank you.